Without further ado, I'm going to bring Geoff to the stage. Please, can you give him a very warm welcome? He's not really accustomed to these live performances because everything he does is in front of a camera. So, can you show him some love? Come on.
This is a bit odd, because when can you all hear me and see me? Yeah. I can't see a thing. This is wild. When you're an YouTuber, you're basically used to like everybody sees you and everybody knows you. But I just sit in my car with my phone like this, like and that's it. So my life is it's strange to be in a crowd of people. But basically, I'll give you a little bit of background before I do anything wild, like try to be funny. I don't have to be funny because I'm a guest speaker, so you just have to listen. But basically, I started making YouTube videos a couple of 3 years ago, and it was me farting around with some old cars and trying to be a little bit Top Gear. I've only ever wanted to be a sort of Jeremy Clarkson kind of character. That's all I've ever wanted to do, just mess around with cars. And then I remember one day, I was sat at home and I was reading a news article. I'd had the channel for like 18 months, and it was growing. It wasn't earning any money or doing anything. And I read an article about the new ULEZ scheme, the new scrappage scheme in London. And it was about 20 minutes before I had to go fetch the kids from school. And I was sitting there with the wife being like, this is bollocks. I think I need to sit in the car and I need to explain to people why this is bollocks. So that's what I did. I mounted the camera in the car and I literally just sat down with my camera and just said, right guys, this is what it is. This is what Sadiq Khan has said. Here's the maths, here's the numbers, here's carbon. This is all bollocks. And that was my first video that went really, really well. And then I kind of realised that there was a bit of a market for me just sitting in my car going, right, this is that, that means that connects to that, these people are bad, they're involved here, that's all bollocks, we're all fucked. Thanks for watching. And now here we are. So, like I said, I don't have to be funny today because I'm a guest speaker, but 18 months ago, I was sat there with 333 subscribers, and I thought I'd done pretty well. I thought I made it. And now, I'd ask you all to get your phones out, but don't. And also, there's no signal in here anyway. But when you get out of here, do subscribe, because we're now knocking on the door of 80,000 subscribers. Yeah! Not only that, but I now own 7.5 cars, and my wife and I both own a Rolex. But the funny thing is, right, not one of my 7.5 cars works right now, and I had to get a lift with my best mate Craig. And my Rolex, right, there's a bit of a story there. So, do you remember the Rhodes fires this summer? The Rhodes fires, yeah? Rhodes was burning, everything was on fire, everyone was dying.
They do it every year, I've lived there.
And I said to my wife, this is bollocks. Let's book a flight. So, while the newspapers were worrying about evacuating everyone from Greece, me and my wife were booking an all-inclusive to go to Rhodes because I didn't quite believe what we were seeing. So anyway, we went to Rhodes and, hired a car, did a drive around the island and all that sort of stuff. And sure enough, I was able to prove to myself that what was happening in the media was not necessarily what was happening on the ground. Yes, there had been some fires, and yes, there was a hotel that had been licked by some flames, but it wasn't exactly what we were being told. And we had a lovely holiday. But I did have a moment after we told one of the mums at school that we were going to Rhodes. She sent me a video of a hotel, and it looked like a scene out of, the day after tomorrow. And I was thinking, have I just booked, is this the worst idea ever? And I was thinking we were going to land on the plane and the plane would be going through flames and we'd be sat at the bar at the all-inclusive with black smoke behind us, but it wasn't like that at all. But anyway, back to the Rolex watch. So we're in the old town in Rhodes. If you've ever been there, there's lots of little shops and whatnot. And I'm looking for the watches and I say to the lady, have you got any Rolex or Omegas? And she goes, yeah, they're behind this curtain. So that's my Rolex, obviously, from Rhodes, 35 quid. Now, does it work? Well, the funny thing was, I was going to wear it today for this. Right, I have a watch fetish. I never wear a watch. And I went to put it on today and I was like, to be honest, it doesn't really fit that well. So, anyway, my wife's Rolex, slightly different story. We're in Egypt, right? And we go shopping in Sharm. And I'm like, darling, I'm going to buy you a nice watch. So similar sort of thing, you know, we start haggling and we start high and we end up low. And I buy this Rolex watch and she's wearing it. She thinks it's the best thing ever. I put it on my Facebook page and write some funny stuff, probably similar to what I'm saying now. And anyway, it then comes time to fly home and we get to customs and the customs lady says to my wife, can you take your watch off? And she goes, yeah, no worries. Tries to undo the clasp. Doesn't work. And she comes to me and says, darling, I can't get my watch off. They're telling me to get this watch off. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't get a watch off? So I tried. Sure enough, this watch will not come off. It's a high quality piece of Swiss engineering glue. And it was kind of funny at first, and then we got to a point where like, it went past the point of being funny. When there were like 5 customs officials and 3 women and they were all basically trying to cut my wife's hand off to get this Rolex off. It was like, it went beyond a joke, it went beyond the point. But anyway, we did eventually get through customs and get back home with the Rolex. So as I said, you know, I've made it now. 7.5 cars and 2 Rolex watches. But I don't really do material stuff, none of that sort of stuff bothers me. But yeah, so the YouTube channel has grown on the back of sitting down and explaining to people what's going on. And what's interesting is the amount of emails I get now, because people end up contacting me when they've got nowhere else to go. And sometimes it's about cars, you know, there's a big thing going on with Kia engines at the moment. They're grenading themselves. People have gone to the ombudsman, they've gone to the dealer, they've gone to trading standards, and they've hit brick walls everywhere, and they end up in my inbox. And everything else that's going on as well. So I get stuff about vaccines, I get stuff about geoengineering, I get stuff, well, you name it, on the world conspiracy spectrum, right? And it's in my inbox. And as much as that is fantastic, because it gives me loads of content, you get to a point you're like, crikey, what am I going to do about all this? Like, and I took a break this summer from making YouTube videos, and I really wanted to. I took time off. I had a very busy July, and then August we went to Rhodes, and after that I was like, right, I've taken a month off posting. I need something big. I need like a big comeback. And my idea was, and maybe it was naive, I wanted to come back and fix the world with one video. I know. You, like, don't laugh. Like, genuinely, that's what I thought I was going to do. I was like, right, I've had a holiday, been off for a few weeks, gonna get back, one video, fix it all. No worries. Anyway, what I actually came up with, this might not be the easiest thing to read with a microphone, but I'm going to try it. I came up with this. So, the backstory to this is, earlier in the year I wrote a poem, which many of you have probably seen, possibly seen. It was called The People Didn't See, and it was just me stood in my car by a river, and it was a poem about the fact that people don't see what's going on in the world. The slow creep of technology, the slow creep of cameras and legislation, and the fact that people aren't connecting the dots between all the various nefarious agendas that are going on. And that poem was interesting because what happened was it went viral, but what was really nice was it didn't go viral on my platforms. Someone had ripped the video off YouTube, put it up on their own platform, and it went viral from there. So initially, it went viral anonymously, which I thought was really cool, because everyone was online being like, oh, who's this guy? Who's written this amazing poem? And I was like, it's not very good. I wrote it whilst I was cooking porridge for the kids in the morning, and my wife was there going, what are you doing? What's possibly so important that you can't be doing the porridge right now? And I was like, nothing much, but Senator Mike Flynn from the USA has just retweeted it, and then this guy from Australia, and like, Christine Anderson from member of European Parliament, and all these people are tweeting it, and my wife's like, you've got to get the kids out of school, get them out the door. So that's the reality of sort of being a YouTuber who's trying to change the world whilst raising 2 children. But anyway, that's sort of real life. So anyway, what I came up with when I did this poem to try and change the world, when I got back from my holiday, and I got really bummed out. I was like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do a video that's good enough to fix the whole world. So I just thought I'd put some stuff into words, and I'm going to read that. So this is what it was, and you might probably be able to sympathise with a lot of the stuff in here. I don't think it has a name, actually. It's been the hottest summer on record, unless you were actually there. The skies are always grey with milky trails everywhere. The farmers are complaining that the wheat has been too wet, but the public hasn't linked the weather with famine yet. The orchestrated shortages are on track with rising prices, keeping people distracted with the pre-planned money crisis. And as the real people struggle with the always rising costs, they grab another jumper to avoid the summer frosts. And these bills, they keep on rising, and we're told to blame Ukraine, but then it all goes through the wash and the profits are insane. It transpires the energy companies asked the government for help to raise the pricing cap so they could further scalp their customers, and naturally the government obliged, once again further proving that the people they despise. We're ruled by billionaires who proudly claim the climate is cooling, warming, boiling. I just wish they'd make their mind up. And they jet around the world preaching we should all use less. So I've promised to cut down on my use of private jets. Because my bills keep getting bigger for the price of stuff I need, but the problem isn't war, it's just good old-fashioned greed. And the numbers soon get posted, and it's as we all expected, record-breaking profits in all the usual sectors, yet despite the glut of money and government collaboration, the services we get are still an abomination. And out of all the crap we see, the one that stinks the worst has to be the water companies whose moral compass has burst, paying massive bonuses to bosses who presided over pumping sewage into beaches, no matter what the time is, and repeatedly they fail, yet they never take the hits. But your Cornwall holiday is ruined when your beach is full of shit. And the government had the chance to clamp down on the polluting, but despite the public backlash, the powers they diluted. So once again, a sector gets a blessing to continue doing things that seem grotesque to both me and you. But this grotesqueness of activity seems to be pervasive, or is it that nefarious powers are persuasive? In every part of life, things are gradually declining, so yeah, let's do ULEZ. Seems to be good timing to talk about how London is being deliberately destroyed by a gnome in an armoured Range Rover based on science that is void. Pricing out the people with this set of dodgy numbers where we all know that the goal is to just install the cameras. The Tories say the mayor has the power and can't be stopped, yet we've seen the inside memos and the push comes from the top. So they all pretend they're against these schemes that rob the public, but they're all in it together, and it's important that we know this. These cameras keep appearing in places that they shouldn't. Good people tear them down where most of the public wouldn't. But we've seen these last 3 years that the people like instruction, being told what to do even if it's their destruction. If you sit back and take stock of where we're at this moment, you'll find across the world that things have become inverted. Safe and effective wasn't, and protect yourself and others didn't. Heart attacks are rising, but we can't work out what did it. Schools have gone progressive, becoming gender-neutral spaces. There's never been a better time to be an adolescent rapist. The forest fires in Europe weren't the climate, it was arson, while Hawaii looks to be the subject of a complex laser weapon. If you want to save the planet, you need to buy your shit from China, the world's biggest polluter, but we got to turn a blind one. Whilst enduring searing heat waves, but only from the telly, a glance outside the window confirms once again it's wet and chilly. They're looting shops and running riot because teens don't have a future. And can you really blame them when you look at the big picture? I won't touch immigration because that word rhymes with invasion. And if it talks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, then it's probably an invasion. So we've got less money and less time and less health and less well-being, and we're worse off than our parents, and I can't see that changing. Let's finish up this awful poem with a simple conclusion. The people that are in power are working in collusion. They hate your life, they hate your kids, and they hate your sense of freedom, but sadly I can't think of anything that rhymes with guillotine. So that was it. That was what I came up with. That was my video to try and change the world. I don't understand why heads aren't rolling in the streets. I don't understand why more people aren't angry right now. The world seems to be in such a mess. But I guess essentially at the end of the day, everybody's just trying to get on. But at what point does the scales tip in the favour of the people that want good for mankind? I don't know, I'm hoping it's going to be soon. I have hope that it's going to be soon. And you've got to have hope for something, because otherwise, I don't know what there is. But I think that's everything from me. Thank you very much for listening. That's been my YouTube journey. Make sure you subscribe. I'll keep making videos about cars and otherwise, and maybe see you here again at some point in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your appreciation.